Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the MSP Corner podcast. I am your host, Fernando, and I'm joined by my co-host, Gregory Morawietz. And today's topic is going to be on how IT service firms can stand out in a crowded market. In other words, ripping off the commodity label, right? It's like that is a trap for everybody. Everybody gets trapped in that commodity phase. Now, today's show is sponsored by the folks at Intergrid. They help IT service firms implement a white label help desk or SOC. IT firms no longer need to build internal teams to specialize in SOC services or add headcount to deliver a 24/7 help desk. So contact the folks at Intergrid if you need you're having challenges scaling your business. Before we get started, on this show, let's quickly go over the agenda. And it's a short one today, but we're gonna have always have a quick introduction. And the topics are going to be it's just going to be a set of questions that have been sent in by listeners, CEOs we talked to. And so we've compiled a list of questions from our audience. So what we're going to talk about is the state of the IT service market, strategies for differentiation, marketing strategy implementation, and we'll have a short plug on the MSP Corner and then a conclusion. So quick introduction. So we have a great show planned for today. We're going to explore actionable insights to help IT service firms thrive in a very competitive landscape. As you guys already know, I mean, it seems like IT firms are on every corner. So Gregory and I are going to discuss proven strategies to break free from that commodity trap and build a trusted brand that resonates with clients. So we're gonna switch things up since like I was saying earlier, we speak with many IT service firms, and Gregory and I are going to give our own opinion on some of these questions that have been emailed to us or have been asked over the phone. So let's dive into this. Greg, let's start off with you on this one. So can you share your thoughts on why IT service firms often get perceived as interchangeable in the market. Does that question make sense to you?
No.
Okay.
Interchangeable to what?
Well, I guess in other words, another way you could phrase it is be replaced so easily, right? It's like companies do not see value in an IT service firm, so they're easily replaced, or just like I said, they're interchangeable. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
they're easily replaced for sure. Yeah.
yeah. So why is that? Why? I mean, I could tell you a story once you give me your answer, but just based on my thoughts are on the conversation I have with CEOs of other industries, right? Their thoughts on why they're making a change, why they're unhappy, and they all have the same they all have the same answer. It's like one of five answers. So you tell me why you feel it's so easy to just swap somebody out with another firm. It's like, oh, right?
I mean, we don't do so much proprietary information. We don't have something that's not replicatable. We don't have something that's unique, like a
Sure.
garbage, like garbage. Where you don't garbage isn't unique, like janitorial services, for instance.
Sure. So you're comparing us to janitorial services, is what you're saying.
It's we're a service, and janitorials are services. So yeah, I will stick by that.
I personally feel different about that because there is a way for you to. Well, here's the thing. Every IT team we've replaced is because of one of five different reasons, and I'll just cover a couple. One is it's a small shop; they've outgrown them. They're just too small, right? They're growing, and their bandwidth is limited, and they can no longer consult at their scale, right? So they're not scaling with them. They're also not expertise in that industry, right? So they don't see any value in an IT service group if they're not experts in a specific industry. You have to admit. Well, let me ask you this: out of what percentage would you say IT service firms are generalists?
50-60%.
So you're saying just over half.
Sure.
I think that's a very generous number. I would think that it would be closer to 90%.
You think 90% of our generalists? Well, when we
Yes.
break into this market, one of the pieces of advice everybody gives you is just pick a vertical. So that will
Do,
automatically make you into an expert
do
somewhere.
they? Do they though? But here's the thing.
They should, and everyone tells them to in these groups.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, is it catching on? I talk to CEOs every day. It doesn't seem like it's catching on. Is it me? I don't know. Is it the groups that I'm talking to? No idea. But we'll find out. We'll get some figures in once we start having more and more discussions with a lot of these groups. But I also see a trend where you're right. Groups are starting to pick an industry, and that's the best move you're ever going to make. I was talking to a group or sorry, feel like it's already Friday. I was talking to a group last week, and it was just the funniest conversation. The CEO couldn't stop talking, and she was just constantly talking about how great she is and how much knowledge she has and her experience and blah 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 blah. I was just like, okay, and I'm listening, and she is able to fund her IT company because I'm like, well, how many companies do you service today? None. Well, how much business have you won to in the past to put food on the table? None. Like, okay. I'm trying to figure out how this lady is funding her business. And I finally got the answer, but, and I'm not going to give it away. But their problem was they don't have any, they want to target, I first, they agreed with me. Let's target one industry, maybe two. And I told them, I go, you guys are going after a big matzo ball. I go, and I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this, Greg, but when they land that matzo ball, when they finally, and I go, look, I'm going to help you create the catalog, so it will illustrate that you target a specific industry, you cater to a specific industry, you bring in specific expertise for this industry. We can make that happen. But let me tell you something that is without a doubt, as sure as the sun will come up tomorrow, if you generate interest with a casino, because they want to go after the casino industry, if you land an opportunity to go to that next step with them, where they're like, okay, we'll set up some meetings here and we could possibly start working together, but they're going to want a reference. Do you agree or disagree, Greg?
Absolutely.
Yeah. At that level, I think that level of organization, they're gonna say, we want to talk to one of your clients. We want to read about a case study or something.
Absolutely.
And I go, how many of those do you have? 0. I go, then stop.
That's
right
going to
now.
be a problem.
I go, don't. They're going to invest in a campaign to get in front of these guys. And I'm like, I told them, don't do it. You're just going to waste money. You need to land. You need to build credibility. You can't just go and dive in to a pool of sharks and expect to survive when you have no survival skills. You have no knives. You have no weapons. How are you going to go in there and prove yourself? I go, you guys need to get some small wins. Target a smaller industry. Target somebody where you could at least build some trust with your knowledge. And with me at your side with the sales process, you'll have a better chance of landing the opportunity. So did they listen to me? No, they didn't. And that's okay. Hey, it's their money. They can market themselves however they want. So anyways, what I'm trying to get at is if you're going to target a specific industry, make sure you have something to back it up, because that industry is going to ask for referrals. And if you cannot produce them, it's going to be a long day in the office for you to win that opportunity. You could be the best salesman in the world, but if you don't have anything to back it up, it ain't going to work out. All right, so let's jump to strategies for differentiation. I know we're talking about the power of specialization, and this is one of my favorite questions that came in: is why is it important for IT service firms to focus on a niche, and how would you identify the right one, Greg?
How would I identify? I don't understand. What do you mean? How would I identify the right one of what?
How would you determine, hey, Fernando, we're going to go after this industry?
Oh, I mean, whoever on your crew has the most experience.
And there's one more answer.
I mean, whatever's nearby.
No. Well, yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah, you're right.
If you don't have anything, if you're specializing in law firms and all you have is oil derelicts everywhere you go, you're going to be exactly. You're going to be hurting a little bit, I think.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah, you got to make sure there's enough law firms in the market, right? You got to, and the other important piece of information is, hey, have a couple of legal offices under your belt.
Sure.
Right? You need to, because you can come up with a great script to call into a 30-40 person legal office, right? You can call in. It's going to be easy to get the office manager or the decision maker, because it's just they're not so ginormous that it's going to be difficult to get in touch with somebody. But if you are going to go after a specific industry, I would do exactly just like you said. Make sure there's a lot of those businesses in your area, and you have a couple of just even one, at least one, right? I don't
Yeah.
know how many times you and I have been to meetings where they've said, "Hey, we want to talk to somebody that's just like us, and they're the same size, and you're doing the same thing you're going to do for us." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I can't even tell you how many times we've had that.
Endless.
Endless, endless." So that's really important, and you bring up a really good point. Is that, yeah, if you're in a city with no legal offices in the area, yeah, don't go after that industry. All right, question number two was asked earlier in the month, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to answer this, but storytelling has been a buzzword in marketing, right? But how can IT service firms effectively use storytelling to build their brand and connect with clients?
I've never heard of storytelling, so I don't know.
Yeah, storytelling is big
Okay,
because,
well, that's the first time I've ever heard of it.
okay, so when somebody comes to your website, you want to tell them a story, right? A story that they can relate to. And it doesn't, and I'm not talking about a novel. I'm talking about images that come along with a few words that solve problems. And you want to tell a comprehensive story so they can immediately determine that, hey, this firm can possibly help me, right? So if let's say a medical office is researching you, they want to read a story that says, hey, they can solve our security problems, our HIPAA compliance issues. They can provide us with 24/7 help desk. They can provide, it looks like they have experience in our SaaS apps, right? You want to tell them about the value you deliver. And it's really important that you tell it in a story format so they can quickly determine that you are a fit. If they have to go to 3 or 4 different pages to read about your story, it's not going to work out very well. So you got to put it in a very comprehensive fashion so people can determine, or visitors can determine, that you are a fit for their organization, or potentially a fit. I don't know how many times I hear that when I'm in meetings. It's like, hey, we found you online. We went to your site, and based on your site, it says that you can help us. And I'm like, of course we can, but let me ask you some questions before we go to that next step of, generating quotes and all that. So, because we want to make sure that they're a fit for us. We're a fit for them because they've determined that we understand their business. They have problems, we illustrate that we solve those problems.
Are there ever businesses that are not a fit for anyone?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, what do they do? How do they know that they have to change?
So, okay, that's a great question. That's a great question because you want to, and that's what we've created in our content in the MSP Corner packet. It tells you, it guides you on how to build an ideal client profile. Like, okay, here's one. Here's one of the determining factors. You have to be a medical office with at least 10 employees. Okay. If I'm going to meet with you, I have to meet with the decision maker, not the IT manager. So if somebody calls me from an office and it's 50 people and it's like, hey, it's the IT manager, I'd be like, okay, I'll meet with you, but I need the decision maker there. Oh, I know, I am the decision maker. Well, who do you report to? The CEO. I go, well, I need the CEO there. So I need to determine, I personally would have to
You
make
would
the
challenge
decision.
somebody who said they were the decision maker?
I'm not going to say, I would just ask them, who do you report to? I report to the CEO.
Well, they
That
said
just
they're the
tells,
boss. Why would you challenge them?
I know, but I'm just asking, just for my information sakes,
Uh-huh.
because I asked him, I go, can we have the CEO there? It's
Okay.
important. because,
I'd be insulted if you said that to me.
well, that's you. That's you. Some people might not be insulted. Like me personally, I wouldn't be insulted. I'd be like, oh yeah, my Gregory's the boss. Oh, you want him there? Sure, sure, yeah. Will he be there? I don't know. He's pretty busy. So,
I know a lot of people have, Napoleon complexes. They feel like
hey, then they do. Then they do. Right?
get rid
That's the
of them.
chance.
Can we get rid of
That's
them?
the chance. That's the chance that you have to take. You've got to draw a line here. And I'm serious about this line because you're either going to waste your time, and I've already had this happen to me with so many other, because I'm in meetings with other IT service companies, and I'm meeting with their clients, and it's like, we're not meeting with the decision maker. Have we won one? No, not one, because we're not meeting with the decision makers.
Mm.
And there's questions, you can say, you know what, it's a great idea to have them there because they might have questions that might, that could come up, and when you meet with them, and you're not going to have that answer for them. So maybe we can, kill a lot of time, kill a lot of wasted time if they're there, right? I don't want to ever make them feel like I'm overriding them or feel like
Yeah,
they're
overriding.
they're irrelevant, right? I don't want,
Irrelevant.
right?
Right.
So I want to make them feel like, hey, we don't want to waste any time. So, questions might come up when you meet with him, and you talk to him about us. He might ask you a question you don't know. So maybe it's a great idea to have him there. And if he says no, it's just me, then I need to determine I'm not going to meet with you.
Really?
Or I say, yeah, okay, let's meet. Now, am I going to meet with him? I don't know. I don't know.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Don't know.
That's brutal.
Well, that's a
What?
decision. That's a decision that every IT service or CEO of IT service firms need to make. And that's what we talk about in the guide of building an ideal client profile. You have minimum requirements. And what are those? They're a company in your area. They're a specific industry. They're a specific size. You're meeting with a decision maker, right? They're looking to make a decision quickly. We're not looking to make a decision until next year. Yeah, let's talk next year. Or let's talk in 8 months, right?
Right.
So, there's certain things that everybody's going to want on their qualification questions. These are the you need to just because you say I qualify for you, I need you to qualify for me.
Really?
Sounds like you don't like that process.
No, because when you're at a restaurant and you want food, they don't say, well, do you belong here or not? You know what I mean? I don't feel that way. I feel like everybody should be given the same level of service. I don't feel
Well,
like I should be cutting somebody off because of the way I feel about how they run maybe their business model or something. I don't know.
okay, let me ask you this. Let's use that same example. And I don't want to sound heartless here, but let's say a homeless man walks in and he's smelly and he doesn't look good and he's dirty and he wants to come in and eat, but his stench is so bad it's going to scare away other customers. Do you serve him or do you not serve
Maybe not. Maybe I'm a bad person.
him? So you don't serve him?
No way. I'd kick him out.
Well, exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. Not everybody qualifies to be in that restaurant. And
Huh.
that's what we're doing over here. It's like, do you qualify to work with us? Are you going to meet with us every month?
No.
Okay, for the first 6 months. Are you going to meet with us every quarter after that? Because
Wow.
you want to have a strong partnership. You want to have great communication. So, hey, you got to take a hard line, bro. You got to take a hard line. All right, next question. And this could have been asked, I could have asked this question 15 years ago. So a lot of firms claim the following.
Hmm.
We've been around for 20 years. We provide excellent service. But how can they go beyond this to create a truly exceptional client experience? Right? Everybody says that. Everyone, we used to say it, right? It's like there's no value that pertains to the client. It's not relevant to the client. Who cares if you've been around for 20 years? Who cares if you give excellent service? You've now commoditized yourself. You're a commodity. You're like a cookie cutter. You're one of the cookies that came out of the cookie cutter. You don't want to be a cookie cutter IT service firm. You want to be an IT service firm that stands out. And if somebody asks me what makes you different than other IT service firms, I say, well, look, we have our clients in your industry don't have problems because we're experts in the medical industry. We know HIPAA compliance framework like the back of our hands. Our guys eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Our clients have never ever been fined or had any type of issue with HIPAA compliance. But more important, their client or their patient information has always been secure. They've never had any security issues. So if you don't want to have any type of those type of problems, you should be working with us because we're experts in the medical industry. We're not just your run-of-the-mill generalist IT service firms. Every industry needs expertise, and that's what we bring to you, Mr. CEO, at your medical office. We're going to ensure that you don't have problems. We're going to implement strategies so we're proactive with not only your network, but also your security and your compliance framework. And when you do have issues, we're going to go a step further and guarantee that we're going to start solving that problem within minutes, not days or weeks. It's like we're going to address it immediately. Now, has any other IT service firm made that same claim? Or do you just want to work with a generalist that just gives you a cheap price and cheap service? So you need to make you got to make a decision of like, okay, I've been working with somebody. The CEO is going to be in a position of, well, I've been hiring cheap guys and I continue to have problems. And I seem to not learn my lesson because I keep working with generalists. It could either be him, right? It could be that person, or it could be somebody who hasn't learned their lesson yet. And he's like, I'm racing to the bottom with the IT service groups. And I'm going to take the cheapest guy. All right. Hey, you're not going to win every opportunity. It's impossible. You can't bat 1,000. Nobody bats 1,000. Tom Brady didn't bat 1,000, and Babe Ruth didn't bat 1,000, and Michael Jordan didn't hit 1,000 shots, or 1,000%. So you got to go with an exceptional close rate, and I'm okay with a 30 to 40% close rate. All right, let's go over to marketing strategy implementation because these are the last 4 questions of the day. So IT service firms struggle with marketing consistency. What's your advice for creating a sustainable marketing plan? What would you do if you
hire a marketing manager? Because marketing's not my strongest suit.
You're pretty knowledgeable though, and you're good at it. But you're right. That's one thing about you. You're a great delegator, a great manager, and you stay on top of things. So yeah, I get it. You're right. These guys need to hire a marketing manager, and that's why I've looked at a lot of these guys. I've had discussions with all these guys. Well, we implemented SEO. We did PPC. And I'm like, well, okay. You're working with a group that's not really an expert in your field. Did you guys come up with a strategy of how which industry you're going to target, et cetera, et cetera? No, we didn't do that. We just had them pick all the keywords and then we just gave them money for the budget. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. Because you got to put a well thought out plan if you want to succeed in marketing. There's just no way around it. You need a marketing manager, just like you said. That's at the end of the day, you need somebody to come up with a plan that's going to target a specific industry. That's just it. All right, social proof can be a big game changer. So What's the best way for IT service firms to collect and showcase client testimonials? I've been thinking about this one. So, what would you do to showcase client testimonials? And don't get boring on me and just say, "Oh, well," because we have them on our website. We have client testimonials on our website where we have a quote from several CEOs. But there's another way of doing it. What would you do, Greg?
I'd maybe make them part of my blog.
That's a good. Okay, good. I didn't think about that one. Well, no,
Your blog's got to come up with something as an end result, like, oh, look, this is what happened, and
No,
by
that's
the
a case
way,
study.
here's a guy
That's a
who's
case.
giving me juice on it.
Yeah, no, that's case study. That's a case study. That's a case
Or a
study.
case study. Then I would
Yeah.
put it on the end of a case study.
We've done that. We've done that. We do case studies, but here's a better one, and it doesn't have to be big, and they don't even have to do anything. Really, it's I would send them a quote, and they would have to approve it, and then I would ask them, send me a video of you saying that so I can post it on my website. Having video testimonials of somebody talking about you for 30 to 45 seconds is going to go a long, long way. That will connect with people.
All right.
All right. Email campaigns.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Email campaigns can feel outdated to some, right? It's a very old school method, but how can IT service firms modernize their email marketing efforts to stay relevant? I've got an answer for that one too. So
I mean, I'd do a drip campaign. I would work off of your blog or your vlog or your testimonial. I mean, I would tie everything together as much as you can.
Well, you're onto something. You're right. But one of the things that has modernized the email, the marketing efforts is automation and drip. And you're right. Drip's been around for a long time, but automation, they've been doing. There's a few companies out there that allows you to schedule an email every week. So you send out something of value, a report, right? If let's say you're targeting the medical industry, and you're like, "Hey, Mr. CEO, here's a report on how to prevent phishing attacks. The medical industry was attacked, the 5,642 medical offices were attacked in 2024 because of phishing attacks. Read this report so you're not a victim or you guys don't fall for a phishing attack." Right? There are training portals out there, so read up. Here you go. Here's some valuable information. Delivering value like that will help build rapport, credibility, and trust. And that's what dude, I don't know how many emails I get every day of me reading a novel. They still haven't gotten, a lot of these firms have still not gotten the clue of, you don't write a novel. You don't write about how great you are. You don't write about how great your company is. And they just don't get it. Now, the other thing that people are making a mistake on is they create these beautiful images in the body of the email. Firewalls, you know how sophisticated firewalls are today. They tag it as spam. They'll tag it as junk mail. Half the time it won't get to me. So companies need to get rid of images. I'm not for images. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But you're right about tying in the blogs, tying in the case studies. Hey, read this case study. If you've had HIPAA compliance problems in the past, this company also had them. We solved their problem, and this is how we did it. So read about it. Finally, what's the one piece of advice you'd give to IT service firms looking to build trust and long-term relationships with their clients? Like, let's say they have clients. Would you give them what would you do? They already trust them, but you want to build on that trust. Wouldn't you say, right, to forge a stronger relationship with the client?
Sell more long-term services, become more indispensable.
Yeah. Okay. So here, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say is you need to go with the land and expand approach and reach out to CEOs. And this is what I'm doing with other IT service firms. I go, look, you guys are already doing something for them. They already love you. They already trust you. You've built enough rapport with them that they will answer the phone when you call. I go, you guys need to introduce new solutions to them. Talk to them about the additional value you deliver. So security is a big one right now. So start small. Hey, we'll implement a multi-factor authentication and a phishing training portal for you. Minimal. That's minimal dollars, right? So that's one way to build on that trust. All right, so that comes to an end. So that's about it. That was my last question, but let me just give everybody a quick overview on the MSP Corner. We're obviously on a mission to deliver valuable content, produce valuable content to our members. And Gregory and I, we're founders of an MSP, so we know the struggles many of you go through. We meet with IT service firms every week and we hear all their struggles. So we know what's going on in today's market. We're in touch with it. We're not just another we're not other founders that have sold their MSPs and have been out of the business for years and know what the challenges are. It's like, no, we see it every day. Different challenges every day. So we've developed this platform to help guide MSPs through these type of challenges. And we want to offer frameworks that solve marketing and selling value challenges. Plus, we're lining up resources to help you with the outbound campaigns such as SEO, PPC, email marketing, automation, cold calling. We found a cold calling firm that sounds amazing, and they'll be a guest on our podcast very soon. All right, I'm going to conclude with the following. Is that differentiating in the IT service industry is no small task, but with the right strategies, it's possible. And to all our listeners, if you found today's episode helpful, make sure to subscribe and share it with your network. And for those that want information on the white label help desk or SOC services, you need to contact Jim Coleman at jim@intergrid, INTER grid, GRID, M as in mom, S as in Sam.com. If you want to contact Greg or I, email us at info@mspcorner.com. Until our next show, I'm Fernando Leon, helping IT service firms transform their business and achieve success. Stay inspired and keep innovating. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.